Mad Maxine Waters finally got what she deserves right outside her house. Of all the hashtags going around right now, possibly my favorite is the one that addresses possibly the most delusional Congresswoman of all time. Our friend and liberal pitbull Maxine Waters has finally hit the end of her chain, and she's on that visually delightful backflip into the reality that is the displeasure of her constituents. These California voters make us have hope for the left coast, even for Los Angeles, that there might actually be something too over-the-top liberal for them. This could, of course, have something to do with the fact that it was recently brought to light in the national media that she didn't actually live in the district that she claims to represent. The hypocritical politician is registered to vote just on the edge of the 43rd district, chants that we should impeach 45, but lives in a mansion cozied up to Beverly Hills. This Congresswoman, whose constituents have called a poverty pimp, could have probably lived out her days on the taxpayer dime, but she just had to rise to fame by griping and complaining about the president. So if she wants to draw attention to herself, we will just pay attention. But fair warning, just because you're a minority, that doesn't mean you won't get the majority out to get you for your race baiting and improper use of power. Via CABC. California Congresswoman Maxine Waters has been calling for the impeachment of President Trump, but now there are those calling for her to be kicked out of office. Standing outside the Congresswoman's home in LA are over a dozen protesters, a mariachi band, and Omar Navarro. He ran against Waters and lost in 2016, but he's getting ready for round 2 in 2018. Trending, just in, karma just pounded on Maxine's front door, trapped inside begging for help. Hashtag impeach Maxine. See, Maxine is talking about impeaching President Donald Trump, and yet she doesn't ask herself, what about her? What about her not doing her job for 35 years? Asked Navarro. Members of the Black community and Latinos for Trump are out here protesting, calling for Waters to resign. The Congresswoman was not home at the time of protest. Congresswoman Maxine Waters has been making national headlines, calling for the president to be impeached. But outside her home, over a dozen protesters were calling her out. She is not representing her constituents, especially the Black constituents. She thinks by putting down our president, we're going to like her more. Every time she talks, she makes me want to throw up. The protesters, accompanied by a mariachi band, are in support of her 2018 congressional opponent Omar Navarro, who also attended the protest. The Congresswoman was not home at the time of protest. Congresswoman Maxine Waters has been making national headlines, calling for the president to be impeached. But outside her home, over a dozen protesters were calling her out. She is not representing her constituents, especially the Black constituents. She thinks by putting down our president, we're going to like her more. Every time she talks, she makes me want to throw up. The protesters, accompanied by a mariachi band, are in support of her 2018 congressional opponent Omar Navarro, who also attended the protest. I wanna hear impeach or recall Maxine Waters. We have had enough. She is not helping the Black community. Omar is for all Americans regardless of the color of their skin. Omar is in touch with everybody in the community. He wants what's best for American citizens, and that's the way it should be. Navarro added. Waters obviously lives outside the district, and that's a representation of who she is and who she's serving. She's not representing the interests of her own district. People are homeless in Los Angeles, while this person right here, gestures to Waters' home, is out of touch with what's going on in society. Thankfully, some of the Democrats are starting to at least see how crazy she looks to the world and separate themselves from her. Who knows if they actually want to back away from her policies or if they just want to not look bad, but anyway, that they back off of the crazy is helpful in the long run. As it turns out, Waters has only sponsored 3 bills in her almost 30 years in office, but she's been voted most corrupt congressperson more than 3 times. Kinda makes you wonder what she's up to if she's spending more time getting corruption awards. This is going to be an awkward fall from grace for Waters, considering that some liberal publications were saying that she would run for president in 2020. I think Republicans would be okay with that. If they want to run another corrupt